I think this is number 3. And I'm going to go on here a little bit. I'm going to say what comes to my mind. I'm going to read a quote from Woodrow Wilson. He's the 28th President of the United States. He's the one who signed it in the Federal Reserve Act. You know, let me just say something about the 29 Depression. You know when the 29 Depression happened, they blamed it on capitalism? Did you know that? Capitalism, there's only 3 valid functions for government in a laissez-faire capitalistic system. What are those 3 valid functions, you say? The 3 valid functions is a police force. We do need a police force because we need to protect the weak from the strong, and we can't have crime going on in our society. And I'm for equal protection for everybody under the law. Okay? A national defense. We need a national defense, right? We live in a big world. There's other countries besides America, so we need a national defense. What's the third thing? The third thing is the judiciary system, right? They interpret the laws, and they provide the judges, and they provide solutions to people with conflicts on contracts, and they deal out the penalties, right? So you do need a judiciary system, but every single aspect of every other thing in society can be handled better by private enterprise as long as you have an honest money system. If you take away an honest money system, you're going to start to see greed in big business. You're going to start to see greed and corruption in government and greed and corruption in politics. Let's read what Woodrow Wilson said, and I got a lot more. Woodrow Wilson, 28th President of the United States. I am a most unhappy man. I have unwittingly ruined my country. He's talking about him signing the Federal Reserve Act. A great industrial nation is controlled by its system of credit. Our system of credit is concentrated. The growth of the nation, therefore, and all our activities are in the hands of a few men. We have come to be one of the worst ruled and one of the most completely controlled and dominated governments in the civilized world. No longer a government of free opinion, no longer a government by conviction and the vote of the majority, but a government by the opinion and duress of a small group of dominant men. These are the bankers who control the money supply. If you can control the money supply, you don't need to make the laws of the country. Everybody becomes in debt to you. And we'll go on. There's so much more. Let me read Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution. Let me just read that sentence. No state shall make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. That's in our Constitution. That's the Constitution of the United States. Our forefathers knew what fiat money systems do to society. They knew that very well. It had already happened. You ever heard the phrase, not worth a continental? Where do you think that phrase come? We already had money systems fail in this country. Okay, I'm going to read a surprising one. This may surprise you. You may not know about the next one. Again, a lot of you, I would expect, know this. I mean, the people I talk to already know these things, but I'm trying to get the word out for people that don't know. This is Alan Greenspan. Did you know that Alan Greenspan helped Ayn Rand write Capitalism, the Unknown Ideal? Matter of fact, it says Ayn Rand. I don't know if you can see that. Right down here, with additional articles by Nathaniel Branden and Alan Greenspan. His name's on the book. Alan Greenspan used to be a good guy. He used to talk about honest money. He used to talk about how we had to limit our government. The whole concept of the Constitution of the United States is not to say what government can do, but it's to say what government cannot do. It's to limit government and to protect our rights. I'm talking to all of you. I don't care if you're rich, if you're poor. I don't care what your background is. This is for you. We have to come up and protect our rights together. If you're a man who believes in freedom, I consider you my friend. I don't care what your background is. This is for all of us. If we want to live a lifestyle without government getting involved in our lives, we have to come together, understand our history, and we have to have the knowledge in our head to fight these corrupt and greedy jerks who have other agendas to force down our throat. We have to come together. It doesn't matter our background. This is Alan Greenspan. Let me read you what Alan Greenspan wrote before he became Darth Vader and entered the system. I don't have no respect for Alan Greenspan anymore, but this is before he became Darth Vader. In the absence of the gold standard, there is no way to protect savings from confiscation through inflation. This is the shabby secret of the welfare statist tirade against gold. Deficit spending is simply a scheme for the confiscation of wealth. Gold stands in the way of this insidious process. It stands as a protector of property rights. If one grasps this, one has no difficulty in understanding the statist antagonism toward the gold standard. You say, Rudy, do you worship gold? Is that your... No, I don't worship gold. I don't worship gold and silver. They're not my God, okay? What gold and silver represent is honest money, okay? If you give somebody the power to print money whenever they want, right? Imagine we're all playing a game of Monopoly, okay? Monopoly is a game all of us should be familiar with. One of the players is a banker. But one of the players, he's a player in the game. He wants money for his family. He wants money for his own wealth, his own personal desire. But he's got an unlimited supply of money. He can print money till the cows come home all he wants. That's what the Federal Reserve is with politicians. The politicians have that power. We gave them that power with the Federal Reserve Act. Both of them together make up the creature that Edward Griffin is talking about. They print money all they want. What do you think that does? That corrupts them. It makes them greedy. We're no longer on a fair playing field. How good we do in society as far as our finances is no longer how hard we work. It's related to being controlled by the guys with all the money. It's a terrible, terrible thing that happened in the history of our country, and it's going on, and the greed and corruption has gotten so big that you and my lifestyle is in danger. Let's read Griffin quote of the day, Stolen Nation. Okay, I'm going to read this, and I got probably enough time to finish it. And this is important stuff, and I got a lot more quotes. The first step in this crusade is to spread the word. Americans have allowed their nation to be stolen from right under their noses because they did not understand what was happening. This is not just an American phenomenon. The same thing has occurred with minor variations in every advanced nation of this world. There is no hope for the future as long as that condition remains. The Federal Reserve, if ever I had to say, what is the most evil thing on this planet? It's the Federal Reserve. So much evil is allowed to happen because of the existence of the Federal Reserve. It is incredible. You need to understand what a core force for evil the Federal Reserve is. Therefore, the starting point for any realistic plan for survival and beyond is the awakening of America and the world. Unfortunately, that will not be enough. It's not just enough for me and you to know this. Education is important, but it makes little difference that we know if we don't do something. If we don't do something with that knowledge. It has been said that knowledge is power, but that is one of the greatest myths of all time. Men with great knowledge are easily enslaved if they do nothing to defend their freedom. Knowledge by itself is not power, but it holds the potential for power if we use it as a guide for action. Truth will always be defeated by tyranny unless people are willing to step forward and put their lives into the battle. The future belongs not to ideas, but to people who act upon those ideas. And I admire Ayn Rand, and one of her famous things is ideas matter. She has a lot of literature. She has a lot of literature about how important ideas are, and I totally agree with that. But if we don't implement these ideas, if we don't get the word out, if we don't talk about these things, if we don't make YouTube videos, if we don't do something with our ideas, it's all for naught. Might as well just hang it up, and let's bow down to the socialist agenda that's coming down the pipe. Let's go turn in our guns, and let's just become a slave, because that's what they want to turn us into. And I need to make a whole nother video on the evil of socialism, because I don't think most of you out there even understand how evil that system is. But that's not what this video is about. I'm going to talk more about Federal Reserve, and this ain't the end of it. I'm going to come back.